Welcome to C News Now.
The height difference between Liu Yunlin and Song Zuni in bowing. More than just a visual. In cinema, even the smallest visual details can carry tremendous weight. One subtle yet striking element in the film bowing Khom Lưng is the noticeable height difference between Liu Yunlin and Song Zuni. At first glance, it might seem like a simple physical contrast, but in the careful hands of the director, this difference becomes a powerful storytelling tool. Liu Yunlin, with his taller frame, naturally commands presence on screen. Every movement he makes carries a sense of authority and gravitas. In contrast, Song Zuni's comparatively petite stature emphasizes vulnerability, delicacy, and human fragility. Together, their physical contrast visually communicates the tension and emotional hierarchy between their characters without a single word being spoken. Throughout bowing, the height difference is used to accentuate relationships and dynamics. In scenes where Liu Yunlin's character towers over Song Zuni, the camera often captures him from angles that reinforce his dominance, strength, or emotional weight. Meanwhile, the framing of Song Zuni often emphasizes her resilience, subtle expressions, and inner strength, showing that vulnerability and courage can coexist. The visual disparity creates a natural tension, drawing the audience's eye and guiding their emotional response. But the height difference is not just about power. It also creates intimacy. When the two characters share quiet moments, the slight bending, leaning, or adjusting of posture becomes a language of care and connection. The physical distance caused by their height is bridged by gesture, gaze, and movement, subtly reinforcing the depth of their relationship. Each frame tells a story of understanding, empathy, and unspoken communication. Interestingly, this contrast also mirrors the emotional arcs of the characters. Liu Yunlin's character, tall and imposing, often appears burdened by responsibility and expectation. Song Zuni's character, smaller in stature, often embodies resilience and emotional intelligence that belies her physical size. The audience is reminded that strength is not always proportional to height. Sometimes, the most impactful presence is measured in emotional depth rather than centimeters. The cinematography in bowing cleverly emphasizes this difference. Wide shots highlight their contrasting silhouettes, while close-ups capture subtle reactions that might otherwise be overlooked. The interplay of their heights adds layers to the narrative, subtly reinforcing themes of dominance, care, vulnerability, and interdependence. Furthermore, the height contrast invites reflection on broader symbolic interpretations. In a society that often measures capability or influence by external factors, the film reminds us that true connection, understanding, and influence are not dictated by size. The visual disparity between Liu Yunlin and Song Zuni becomes a metaphor for balance, strength paired with gentleness, presence paired with subtlety. For viewers, this height difference becomes an emotional anchor. It makes the characters' interactions feel more tangible, more grounded, and more human. In moments of tension, it amplifies anxiety and stakes. In moments of intimacy, it amplifies tenderness and care. The audience feels the physicality of their relationship as deeply as the emotional nuances, creating a holistic viewing experience that lingers long after the credits roll. Ultimately, what makes the height difference memorable is not the numbers themselves but how it is used to tell the story. Liu Yunlin and Song Zuni's performances, combined with thoughtful direction, transform a simple physical contrast into a multi-layered storytelling device. It is a testament to the power of subtle visual cues in film, how even something as basic as height can deepen character development, narrative tension, and audience engagement. In bowing, the disparity in stature is not a distraction but a narrative tool, a lens through which we understand vulnerability, strength, connection, and empathy. It is a reminder that cinema's power often lies in its details, and that even the smallest visual contrasts can carry profound emotional resonance. Liu Yunlin and Song Zuni's performances show that height may be fixed, but the emotional weight, intimacy, and impact of a character are limitless. In bowing, every visual choice carries intention, and none is more subtle yet powerful than the height difference between Liu Yunlin and Song Zuni. It is more than a physical contrast, it becomes a language in itself, conveying power, vulnerability, intimacy, and unspoken emotion. Liu Yunlin's taller frame naturally conveys presence, authority, and a certain weight of responsibility. In scenes where he stands above Song Zuni, the camera often frames him in ways that accentuate dominance and emotional gravitas, yet never to the point of intimidation. It is a nuanced performance, where height is a tool to externalize internal conflict, making the audience feel the burden he carries. Song Zuni, on the other hand, embodies resilience and emotional subtlety. Her smaller stature is not a limitation. It enhances the perception of delicacy, attentiveness, and inner strength. The juxtaposition of their heights creates a visual rhythm that guides the audience's emotional response. Moments of tension feel heightened, and moments of connection feel more intimate. The film's director uses this contrast thoughtfully. In wide shots, the silhouettes of the two characters are often placed against stark backdrops, emphasizing the physical difference and the emotional dynamics between them. In close-ups, small gestures, Song Zuni looking up at Liu Yunlin, or him leaning slightly toward her, become loaded with meaning. These micro-movements tell stories words cannot. Care, caution, curiosity, and respect. Height also becomes a metaphorical device. Liu Yunlin's towering presence represents external pressures, societal expectations, and visible strength. Song Zuni's smaller frame represents subtle influence, emotional intelligence, and the quiet power of empathy. The film subtly reminds viewers that true impact is not always measured by size, but by depth of presence and emotional resonance. What makes the contrast even more compelling is how it is woven into the characters' psychological arcs. Liu Yunlin's character sometimes struggles with authority, responsibility, or self-doubt, and the height difference visually amplifies his vulnerability. Song Zuni's character, seemingly fragile at first glance, often emerges as emotionally grounded and perceptive, demonstrating that inner strength transcends outward appearances. The interplay of their heights also enhances audience engagement. Viewers instinctively perceive dynamics between the characters, protection, tension, affection, or subtle rivalry, without a single line of dialogue. The physical contrast becomes a silent narrator, guiding emotions and reactions in a way that feels organic and immersive. Cinematography reinforces this effect. The film carefully chooses angles that emphasize symmetry, distance, and alignment, turning the height difference into a visual motif. A scene where Liu Yunlin bends slightly to match Song Zuni's gaze communicates connection, trust, and shared understanding. Conversely, moments where he stands tall while she remains small create tension, expectation, or awe, depending on the narrative context. Beyond technical mastery, the height difference resonates emotionally because it mirrors real human relationships. In life, differences, whether physical, social, or emotional, can shape dynamics, but connection often arises from understanding and adaptation. In Bowing, the audience sees that difference is not a barrier, but a canvas on which relationships, emotions, and growth are painted. The pairing of Liu Yunlin and Song Zuni also challenges traditional notions of power in cinema. Typically, taller characters are portrayed as dominant, smaller characters as subordinate. Here, the narrative subverts this expectation. Strength, influence, and emotional intelligence are distributed across both characters, demonstrating a more nuanced view of human interaction. In conclusion, the height difference between Liu Yunlin and Song Zuni in Bowing is far more than a visual curiosity. It is a storytelling tool, an emotional amplifier, and a metaphor for connection and understanding. Through subtle performances, thoughtful cinematography, and precise direction, the film transforms a simple physical trait into a rich narrative language. It is a reminder that in cinema, even the smallest details, like a few centimeters of difference, can deepen character, heighten emotion, and leave a lasting impression on viewers. This attention to nuance makes Bowing not just a film to watch, but an experience to feel, where visual contrasts like height are woven seamlessly into the emotional tapestry of the story. Liu Yunlin and Song Zuni's performances exemplify how actors can use physicality to elevate narrative, making every glance, every gesture, and every frame carry meaning far beyond words.